Talkin' Sex Live is recorded in front of a live audience. This show is for mature listeners only. Hello, you're Talkin' Sex Live with Chet and Diane. I'm Diane.
And I am Chet, and we are unlicensed sex therapists here to share our knowledge about sex education, educate the world about not only sex education, but also relationship and sexual health. We're also joined by our guest expert tonight. It is Peter. How you doing tonight, Peter?
I'm doing very well. Thank you, Chet and Diane.
Yeah,
As
it's
always,
been a while.
I'm just honored to be here. I know. Last one, I was,
Last show.
I've been pretty busy. I haven't even had time to try to fill in my toy collection, as you can see from my bare shelves, because Valentine's Day just took it out of me.
Oh yeah, well you're polyamorous, so you must have had a lot of dates.
Oh my gosh.
That's why you weren't on the show the last time. You were you told us you were going to be like it was going to be a 3 or 4 day event for.
Yeah, no, when you're in the polyamory world, and especially like if you've got a lot of relationships, Valentine's Day is like, I don't know, it's like Dragon Con and Comic Con, and like it's a big thing.
It's a whole event.
Yeah, and it gets really common because everybody has, most of your partners have other partners of theirs as well. Like, one of my partners is professionally a project manager, and so like she put together this whole thing. I think she used like Monday.com or something to put together like this whole schedule, because there's crisscross between some of the partners have partners within the group, some have partners outside the group, and so like we had this complex schedule drawn up for who was meeting with whom when. Like there was a lot of triple, quadruple dating. We'd sometimes like rent out like multiple tables in the same restaurant so that you sit with the partner for a period of time, but
it's like a
speed dating.
Yeah, you just like go
almost
around
in a sense, but like we try to take it more seriously than that. Like we want to have committed time with one another, but it was a few days. So like we went to we did Perch, which is this amazing rooftop French restaurant in downtown LA.
Oh yeah, I heard of that.
We took over like 5 or 6 tables of that, which is hard at this time. Yeah, it's hard to do that. Like you book these things months ahead of time for stuff like ours. We did this nice little place in Studio City called Firefly.
Oh yeah, I've heard of Firefly.
Yeah, that was really nice. This little spot called the Little Door. Like we kept, it's. And then, if you want to get frank, because again, of course, that's what we do. Like, I am physically exhausted because there's a lot of sex.
Oh, yeah. Well, why not just have a huge orgy? I guess not everybody is in.
Not everyone's into the orgy.
Got it.
Yeah, absolutely. A few of us, like, that was one way to save time was, get the people who are more connected to one another together and do it together. But not everybody actually has a relationship with everyone. It's not like it's one relationship of 20 people. It's 20 relationships, and maybe there's like 3 or 4 combined ones in there, but then you've got one person who's only seeing someone outside the group or whatever. So you can't just do an orgy. So it's like string out, you have the dinner, dinner and a movie, maybe the movie again, you get a few people together. So it's a larger group
movie,
and you buy the tickets together. So like, and that gets complicated because you go to like the AMC in Burbank, and it's like, okay, am I going to the AMC 16 or the 8 or the
small
5?
one,
like,
or the one in the
person
mall.
shows up to the wrong one, and then
gosh.
it's like, so like people get missed, and so then you have to have makeup movies and makeup dinners with people.
That sounds really complicated.
That is way too much. We just
orgy and a pizza would be an ideal situation.
We just had a night at the house. We went in the hot tub and we cooked each other some dinner. We had some sushi. And
nice.
I got Diane.
I made you the sushi.
Oh yeah, you did. Yeah. But I got a TINS electrical pulsating. Those guys.
Yeah.
It's mainly for muscle pain, for menstrual cramps and whatnot. But also, we were talking before the show, Peter. I didn't realize this. I wanted to give it a shot, but I wasn't too sure how intense it was of actually putting the electrical pads on my penis. Have you done that before?
Yeah, it can get pretty intense. You want to, typically you want to buy units designed specifically for that, or at least, or you can get ends that are designed for that purpose.
Okay.
Just throwing something that was designed for something else on there may not be good. I don't know. I haven't tried the ones that are not designed for that because that made me nervous.
Yeah.
Might output too much current, might not be the right shape or whatever. Yeah. So
it's really intense on the muscles there.
But yeah, they have all sorts of attachments, TENS sounding devices, TENS anal plugs.
Plug. Wow,
you name it.
Stuff going into your anus. I don't know about that, but
I've tried a couple things, fun. Mostly just like wraparound stuff or whatever, and it can get intense.
Intense.
Yes.
Well, we'll also talk about what else we did, but we need to bring in Wells because Wells is always here with us. How are you doing tonight, Wells?
Hi everyone, I'm well. I did not have a date for Valentine's Day.
Yeah, you were stuck in the studio there.
I was stuck in the studio. I have started dating someone, but according to the analytics that I've run, there's about an 86.4% chance that I will be breaking up with them this week. And within the next 2 weeks, about a 92.8% chance.
Is it a coincidence that you pronounced that analytics? Because I think that might potentially have something to do with the problem.
A Freudian slip.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
So why do you think you're gonna break up with this person there, Wells?
Well, I think there's a generational gap. Because I like to text in words and she likes to text in acronyms. And it's too much work to have to Google these acronyms constantly.
Got it.
Better than just emojis, because that's even harder, I think.
Or that was the other thing. I had to learn some emojis.
DTF.
Gen Z, it's a whole thing.
Yeah,
we've gone full circle to Egyptian hieroglyphs at this point.
Absolutely hate all the DTF and I like that one, but I hate the whole. What else is there? The BRBs and the LOLs and I don't know. I'm not.
BRB was our.
I grew up with
generation.
that. Yeah, that was
ours. Grew up with the BRB.
And we will hold on to it.
Be right.
But I mean, like the IMIG, NGL.
Not gonna lie.
If you know, you know. There's so many of them.
Too much for me, man.
I see YMI. I can never remember what that means, and I see it all the time.
Yeah.
YMI.
I see YMI.
In case you missed it.
Yeah. And then I learn it, and then the next time I see it again, I can't remember what it was.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about those genes, the YMI genes.
Oh yeah, Yummy or whatever.
Yummy genes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, further about our Valentine's Day, we actually had those clit suckers. I got Diane one of those, and surprisingly, we never had one. I mean, all the sex toys we had, I was like, you know what, we don't have this one yet, and so I got
recommended by Dr.
Bex. Yeah. So, and believe it or not, I was just didn't really want to head out to a sex store this year, so I just tried to find one online, and Walmart of all places. Sold it, and it was a high quality sex toy.
Nothing too good for me.
No, you get nothing the best, but the Walmart
special lady.
Yes, look at how deflated you are. I'm so special, but it was the same one that was, the different. God, now I feel like a cheap whore.
Well, 1 out of every 6 sex toys is sold at Walmart.
It's crazy. They have a huge selection.
There is an access problem for a lot of the country, a lot of rural areas. Can't get to those higher end sex stores, so they just buy them at Walmart.
It's crazy. Well, I was looking on Amazon, and it was very difficult because there's so many different companies that want to put out their ads, and so it's nothing but those massagers that were like the high impact pulsating massagers. That's all I could find. And if you put vibrator or vibrating anything, and it's just all of that, it clouds your feed, and then it's stuff from China, and it's like. I couldn't find anything high quality on there.
Yeah, no, you do have to go to dedicated stores to get anything good.
Yeah.
If you're going on Amazon, it's going to be the cheap Chinese knockoffs, and you can get a good time out of them, but it makes me nervous.
Yeah. So, but you know what? Walmart actually has the top brands that they sell in actual other stores. But I don't like Walmart, so I don't want to participate or shout them out or promote them at all. But hey, you know what? If you're in a pinch and you don't want to go to a sex store and you don't want to pay $120 and rather pay $30. And you're like, well, why not? Let's give it a shot. I didn't even know Diane would like it. So I was like, well, we'll just give this one a shot and maybe we'll buy a higher end one. But it seems like it's doing the job. So yeah, no. It's like, no.
She seems unconvinced and is waiting for you to step up and buy something more expensive.
Now that you told me you got it at Walmart, it's not that great.
Changes the whole deal.
Yeah. So I wanted to hear more about Peter's night, his Valentine's Day. But what's the top event that you can say there, Peter, before we move on to our first caller here?
Oh, top event. Well, we did manage to go to Six Flags as a group, and we managed to all get on the roller coaster together at the exact same time. It wasn't one of those naked roller coaster deals because Six Flags definitely does not accept that. But it was the entire group of us, and we got one of those nice photos of us going down the coaster. So yeah, that was probably the highlight for us. Kind of getting the loop-de-loop, you can look down and see your everyone you've had sex with the entire weekend just in one crowded roller coaster car. And
which one was that? Which one were you on? The X2 or Tatsu?
No, that was Riddler's Revenge.
Oh, the Riddler's Revenge. I actually really like Riddler's Revenge because you're standing up there. Favorites. It's fun. You're standing up.
And that loop is really just dramatic.
I can't imagine being naked on that because that little banana seat goes right in your taint there. And
yes,
really. Your balls would just be flopping out there. Yeah. Wells, do we have a caller coming in at all?
We do. This is Charlotte. And all I'll really say leading into this is that she did something very drastic to be on a television show, and it didn't quite work out.
Okay. Charlotte, you are Talkin' Sex Live with
Chet and Diane.
I am Chet.
I'm Diane.
And so, what's going on, Charlotte?
Hi. I'm pregnant.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Congratulations.
Congrats. Yeah. Is this a wanted pregnancy? Oh my God. Okay. I'm so sorry. It's gonna be okay. You're gonna find that when the baby comes, it's gonna be the joy of your life.
God, I'm gonna have a baby.
Oh yes. Oh God. Okay. So.
All right.
So you're saying you're pregnant and it was obviously unwanted. Do you want to talk about why?
I mean, yeah, I wanted a baby originally. My friend Amanda, she got pregnant and she got on that show 16 and Pregnant, and she said if I did it, I get like $5,000. So I was like, cool. Okay. So I did it, and the audition. Have you heard of this thing called an audition?
Yeah, no, that's usually when you're an actor, you go out on auditions. Can I ask, Charlotte, how old are you?
I'm 15.
Oh, God. Okay. I'm sorry.
Sounds early for the show.
Yeah, it is a little early, but, we want to help you out. It seems like you're in a little bit of a pickle there. So you wanted to get on the show, and they wouldn't cast you, and you didn't have...
They said I was boring.
Oh, okay. Well, you don't sound boring. You sound very interesting to me.
Oh, thank you.
Is your parents supportive of this? Are they helping out at all?
Well, I don't know. I haven't actually told my mom yet.
Oh, okay.
So how'd you go to the audition then? Usually you need parental consent if you're under 18 to audition for any type of entertainment industry production.
Forge their signature.
I told them I was 18.
Oh, wow.
Oh, okay.
So
16 and pregnant.
16 and pregnant, and you're 18.
That may be a factor in why they considered you boring, because you didn't fit the interest of the show itself. I mean, 18 and pregnant is definitely not what the show is about.
It could be.
That 18 and pregnant is honestly pretty normal.
Yeah. Usually with a lot of time with the entertainment industry is an 18-year-old who looks younger will often be cast, and then they'll play someone younger. But in your case, it's the opposite, or they didn't cast you even though you said you were 18. I'm so sorry to hear this. Is the boyfriend, or I'm assuming it's just a boyfriend and not a husband yet, is he involved with this at all, or?
Well, I told him, but he said there was no way, and now he's not talking to me. Such a jerk.
Oh, so you're saying he just, do you still go to school? Is he at school? Do you ever see him? Okay.
Yeah.
What's he saying there's no way
team.
about? No way that it's his? No way you're pregnant?
There's no way it's his.
Oh. Well.
And what is his logic
I've ever
there?
Been with.
Oh, so you've only had sex with each other?
No. Well, we did that one time. And
oh, wow. Okay.
There hasn't been anybody else.
Well, that's pretty cut, dry, and clear there that it's his. So, I mean, you can take DNA tests and whatnot. I don't know how that works with teenagers. Of course, have you tried confronting his parents? Maybe do you know his parents at all? Have you met them?
Yeah, they don't like me. I don't think they would admit it either, but I don't know. How do I get rid of this baby and get out of Utah?
Oh, Utah.
Oh.
Okay. Well, I don't exactly. Peter might know more about this with abortions of minors. I have no idea how it works. If you're not into that, that's fine. Then you know what? You should have the baby if that's what you believe.
Or give it up.
Or give it up for adoption. That's always a viable option. When I was in high school, I had a friend who was pregnant, not by me, but just a friend who got pregnant by somebody else. And she found parents who were looking to adopt, and they shared the journey with her. And it was beautiful. They were in touch with her while she was pregnant, and they weren't able to conceive themselves, and so they were, they basically played it out like it was their pregnancy, this couple. And even though she was in a similar situation, she was I think 16 or 17, and she birthed the baby and gave it up for adoption, and then it was everything turned out fine. You can go that route, and
That's what my uncle did as well.
But your uncle gave birth to a baby, or
no, his girlfriend at the time they were teenagers. They gave their son up for adoption, and then he later found them as adults.
Oh wow!
And now they're all like, a
good big family.
I would say there are locations of Planned Parenthood throughout Utah. It really doesn't matter
where in Utah.
Yeah, there are Planned Parenthoods in Utah. There's Planned Parenthood of Association of Utah is a thing, and there are Planned Parenthoods in Salt Lake City, Orem.
Probably not Provo. But Wells, can you pick that
Ogden, West Valley City, South Jordan. There are a decent number of them. No, I don't see one in Provo, which does not surprise me.
Very Mormon, but
But point being, and keep in mind, as much as Planned Parenthood is talked about in certain circles as being all about abortions, that is not their purpose at all. That is an option that they make available to people if it fits their needs. It is not their primary purpose. Their primary purpose is to help people through exactly this sort of situation, and whatever that ends up being. If they need to adopt, if they decide they want to actually have a child and need help with everything that goes into that, all of the ways that they cover everything in health and safety when it comes to reproductive health.
Yeah, and
for women and for men actually. So yeah.
They'll probably set you up with, it's called being a surrogate. You probably have a surrogate program where you can connect with a couple who's looking for a baby, for somebody who's willing to, or who needs or wants to give up their baby. And so, it's Planned Parenthood. You're planning out your parenthood. And so adoption is a big one. Abortion is one of those options, but it's not the best option for everybody. So it's something that you have to, but it is on the table if it's something that you need to consider.
No one should pressure you in any direction, whether it is to get an abortion or to not get an abortion. You have to make the decision that's right for you. And so you get a proper professional to come in and talk to you and help you understand what your options are and what they mean to you. Then you as the person carrying this child get to make an informed decision for yourself and for what's right for you in the future of your body, your health, and that of the potential child as well.
So are your parents conservative? Do they want, would they get really upset? Or you're Mormons?
Oh,
okay. All right. That's, Are you trying to do this all on your own without having them know?
Yeah, well,
do you have like an aunt?
Knows.
Yeah, that's well,
somebody supportive that can help you other than them.
So they're going to be able to see. How about you just start? I don't know. I mean, because it's called being an apostate, or you're not excommunicated, but is that something?
I forget that terminology.
Wait,
I think it's apostate.
You think they're going to see, like, am I going to get fat?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
not fat.
Then
you'll get very large. So you're going to get very large. So you're not going to get fat. I mean, you'll gain some actual fat, but it's not. It's going to be a baby.
You'll be carrying all the support material and everything, and the baby itself.
It's mostly water weight.
Yeah,
it's mostly water.
But yeah, it will become visible at some point if you choose to carry forward with the pregnancy.
Yeah, probably around 5 months.
Yeah, start to show.
All I wanted to do was become famous.
Oh, so you wanted to be pregnant?
There are easier ways to do that.
Yes. I mean, you can try
TikTok is great.
I was just about to say TikTok. So TikTok, or you could get on Twitch like we are, because you know how famous Chet and Diane are. For all the podcast viewers, watch us on Twitch. Oh, thank you. I'm glad that you watch. So, because we are streaming live right now to Twitch and to Caffeine. We didn't mention that at the top of the show, but so you can try that route. But it's mainly, I don't know, ASMR is big.
Maybe get through this problem first.
Yeah, it's a big one.
Yeah.
Okay.
One thing at a time.
Do you guys want a baby?
Maybe, yeah.
We might.
Maybe.
Yeah. Diane, we would say it is part of our plan of eventually we want to have children, but I mean, Diane doesn't know if she wants to carry a child or not, so it's something that we would consider, but I don't know about right now, though. Yeah.
You're on a time crunch to make that decision.
You.
Sorry, what was that, Charlotte?
I said I just bet that Chet would never leave you if you got pregnant.
Oh, no, never. I would be super excited if she was pregnant, even though, I mean, we do this. We're kind of like this mega couple that's known to have a whole lot of sex and to do this show. But, you know, if we would just work with it and we would adapt and we would have a baby and we would love it and we would, it changes your life and we would be prepared for it. So.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, you guys have been really sweet. I have to figure out what I'm going to do besides murder my baby.
Oh, definitely don't.
Do not become a Casey Anthony.
Yeah, that's...
and keep in mind, at this stage, it is not a baby.
Yeah, it's a fetus.
That is a very different definition, and understand that scientifically. And again, no one can force you to do anything you don't want to, so that's not me trying to talk you into anything, but I want to make sure you get educated on the proper ways to describe where you are in this stage. And it's not a baby yet. It could become one. You could also miscarry. I mean, there are so many situations that don't lead to an end result of you having a baby, but that's why you need professional help to understand where you are. And if you want a healthy baby, you need help to achieve that as well. So get help.
Okay, because the elders say abortion is murder.
Oh, I mean, a lot of religions do say that.
The elders say a lot of things.
Yeah, so.
They do.
They also
they do. They're really smart old white men.
That is certainly what they say, yes.
Yeah. Well, Charlotte, I hope that we actually pointed you in the right direction. You have a lot of options. I wouldn't, your life's not over. You have, in some ways, it's just beginning, so... hopefully you can stay positive about all this and stay safe, my friend.
Okay.
It's okay. You're going to be okay. So I did want to shout out that our friends, Heath and Gretchen, just had a baby. The whole from Heath and Down Under. Yeah, little really baby cute. Jack. Like they had a good one. Looks exactly like Heath. It's great. So their latest podcast episode, they just they talked about the whole birthing experience and talked about Queensland healthcare and the pregnancy and stuff. Check it out. They did a good job. But so we what are some statistics about underage pregnancies? Yeah.
Well, as the old joke goes, teen pregnancy peaked in 1991, just like Kirstie Alley. Teen pregnancy rates have declined steadily since then.
That's an old joke.
What's the joke? I didn't even hear it. What did you say?
I heard the joke.
That old Irish joke about Kirstie Alley and teen pregnancy rates.
Yeah.
I don't get it. Is it from Cheers or why is it Irish?
Yeah.
It's from Cheers?
She peaked, so she was at her top, and then she went down, just like teen pregnancy, which peaked in 1991.
Got it. Okay. So ever since 1991,
jokes are so much better when they're explained.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Every year, teen pregnancy in the U.S. has gone down. Now it's at about 17.4 per 1,000 females. The places with the highest teen pregnancy rates: District of Columbia, Arkansas, and Mississippi. Interestingly enough, all 5 countries with the highest teen pregnancy rates are in Africa.
Oh, wow. Well, I guess that makes sense.
Unfortunate.
Yeah.
I mean, it's always about education.
Yeah.
It always comes down to education, which explains some of the states on that list, and unfortunately explains some of the countries as well, which is what
and that's what we're here to do. It's not only sex education, is talking about how to actually have sex and to let you know, like, no safe means sex, no, safe sex, best forms of contraception, and just normalizing the topic. It's not taboo. It's we're sexual beings. We should all be aware of that and express our feelings and it's okay to feel certain ways as long as everything is safe, sane, and consensual, and you're not putting anybody in any type of uncomfortable situations or anything. So it's just try to normalize the whole sexual topic, sexual energy within this country, and then you'll find that people don't want to have sex as much. It's more of like people want to do what they're told that they can't do, and if you start to normalize it, people and people start to get educated about it, then they're not going to try to go out and just experiment because they already know about it. They don't need to experiment, and they know like what the consequences are and the repercussions.
Or they can experiment safely too.
Exactly, safely to have safe sex and not have to worry about getting pregnant and getting STDs or getting in a situation that you don't want to be in. So
accurate information is so important because you'll hear a lot of education programs, especially the abstinence-based ones, really focus heavily on trying to play up the claimed lack of efficacy of birth control. They'll indicate how such and such methods only 75% effective, or only this effective, or only that effective, to try to scare kids into not having sex because even the protection isn't enough. But what ends up happening as a result is they still have sex and they skip the protection completely because they've been educated to believe that the protection isn't enough. So why bother? It's not going to work anyway, so why not? Why bother even using it? Instead of them focusing on the important part, which is if you're going to have sex, 75% effective is much better than 0% effective. And also, like, even those lower numbers, like the 70s, are only if you don't do it properly. If you're educated and you use the method properly, most methods are in the 90s, high 90s.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Huh. So, did we have a caller, but then it dropped off?
Yeah,
that was interesting.
We did. I thought Douglas was going to be on the line. He has a question about flirting.
Interesting.
Scared him off?
Yeah, we scared him off. Hold on.
We have him in the waiting room.
Okay.
Go ahead and let him in.
Go ahead. Hello.
You're talking Sex Live with Chet and Diane. Hi.
Hi, is this Douglas?
Yes, it is I.
Hi, Douglas. So you have a question about flirting? Is that what you said?
Yeah. I don't really know how to do it.
Oh.
Well,
okay.
You know what I mean?
So do you want to explain a little bit more, like what's the situations that you're currently in, and how you don't know how to flirt, or have you been dating, or have you? What's your situation right now? Are you going to bars to meet girls? Or are you just online or in workplaces, or what's going on with you?
Well, I was doing the online thing for a while, and I was getting a little frustrated with it because I felt like it's really hard to get a sense of someone's personality, obviously, just by looking at a profile.
Mm-hmm.
Like often, I feel like there are a lot of people who, you know, you get to a date with them and then you realize, oh, if I'd met you in person, I probably wouldn't have asked you out because there's no, there's no connection or something, right?
It's hard to get that.
And to be frank, I quickly realized that I could not afford to keep playing.
Dates are expensive.
The roulette wheel, because I was saying, a friend of mine said like, oh, you know, I just went out on like, you know, 20 dates and met a whole bunch of different guys. That was so fun. And I was like, well, 20 dates is like $2,000 to $4,000.
Yeah, it's a lot of money. You're dropping like $80 a pop.
It's like, I'm like, that's, you know, so you have to be a little more selective. So I kind of felt like, oh, maybe in person is the way, because you have a better sense of what the person's like.
Yeah, their essence.
Give a little more information.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So where are you trying to do this? Where are you trying to meet people in person?
Well, I mean, in general, I feel like you just kind of like look for opportunities in your life, right?
Oh, right.
Wherever you are, you try to, you know.
Well,
And that's the kind of thing. It's like if you have a good conversational mood that you establish when you talk to people, how would you recommend is the best way to flirt without making it weird or making it too forward or making it gross? You know what I mean?
Yeah, you can always keep the conversation light and just, you know, smile at them or compliment them on something that you like about them.
Yeah, but make sure that the compliments doesn't make you, if they're not interested, not make you uncomfortable, make them uncomfortable. So you wouldn't just be like talking about, you know, theater or sports and then be all of a sudden, hey, your cleavage looks great or something.
No,
like,
don't compliment the boobs or ass.
I shouldn't do that.
No, you shouldn't.
No.
So
okay.
what are some...
Here's
Go ahead.
I mean, so here's the thing. Most of that stuff I feel like is part of my normal conversational style. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's almost like if somebody's walking by and each person you shake their hand and you say, good job, great job, great job. You know, how do you distinguish yourself beyond that? You know what I mean? Maybe what I'm saying is perhaps my normal personality would qualify as flirtatious because it encourages some sort of connection, but then yeah, how do you distinguish people that you really like more than you like everyone else?
Yeah, so you just have I like just to have a conversation and just be yourself, and if things are jiving, then don't try to force it, just let it naturally occur. You know, if they're really into you and really enjoying your conversation, and then you can go ahead and say like, hey, I'm having a great time, I really like you, make me laugh, compliment something, you know, or just something like, oh, you look great in that top or something, just not something too specific to make the girl creeped out, or just like, I like your laugh, something like that. Just nothing that's, you know, it's weird. We live in this society where we work really hard for other people to notice you, but then if anybody was like, you can't say anything to somebody, like, because you get creeped out about it. So it's just like, if somebody's like, hey, I think you have pretty eyes, I mean, if somebody said that to me, I'd be like, well, thank you, but like, just it depends on who it's coming
what if
from.
a man said that to you?
I would think I'm flattered. Thank you. But like and
it often depends on the setting and whether it's expected. There's so many factors to why people react poorly to compliments, because the compliments are often sexual when no one was expecting sex to be involved, or there's all sorts of implications that come behind it that make people uncomfortable, and they're not necessarily unreasonable to do so. And you know, a lot of people miss that there's additional nuance and background to why someone reacts poorly to, you know, you hear these stories of like, you know, he got fired for just saying hello to her. It's like, well, you left out the part where he's been harassing her for months and he was told not to even speak to her, and then he walked past her in the hallway and said hello and winked. And it's like, but you just want to say he got fired for saying hello. I was like, there's usually more context.
Yeah. It's
well,
like,
here's the problem I have too. It's like there are two things that are happening. Obviously, we all want to be considerate, and we all don't want to be garbage people, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
Right.
then at the same time, it's like we are all trying to kind of pair up and connect and possibly build something with each other, which means that someone has to signify that they are interested. And here's the question: how do I do that?
Yeah.
This is very tough statistically as well, because the University of Kansas did a study and only 22% of women were able to identify when a man was flirting with them, and only 38% of men were able to identify it. So it's just a hard thing to identify overall.
Yeah, believe it or not, I can't tell when people are flirting with me, and I have a hard time flirting with women as well. I am just somebody when I just talk like I'm a normal person, but as soon as it's a slow build for me. Like it's a slow, like Diane and I, we hung out several times before we first actually started, getting more sexual. We were in the same theater that we would go to, and I saw her at the bar, and we chatted for a while, and then we came together later, and we chatted some more, and then she came over and
came together later,
but not come together, not that day. We actually we didn't have sex until like the fourth or fifth time that we met up, something like that. It's just it's more of just feeling it out. It is difficult. Everybody's different too. There are some people that, male and female, that just want to get it on right away, but you can't.
What was that?
Is that a fart? Sounded like somebody ripped one. No? All right. So
okay,
obviously that wasn't something that
I don't recommend doing that.
Definitely don't.
Not in the courtship process.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna get females to really like you if you go ahead and rip one.
Wait. So I shouldn't fart, or I should?
Not in the beginning.
Not in the first. Well, Diane, the third time the second time, the third time when you spent the night, we didn't have sex.
A little. Yeah.
She farted on me. We've told this story several times, but and I was like, you know what, she's the one, she's a keeper. But usually, if you're a female and you're with her for the first time, you just rip a big one. I don't recommend that. I wouldn't recommend that. They would cut her right away.
In fact, this one didn't start farting and burping until quite a bit into this relationship.
Yeah, now it's just like, you know what? I mean, I've told this story. I got a hernia from holding in my farts. So we're just all natural.
Don't recommend that later on.
Yeah. So, but
like most parts of this, the answer is to get to know the person and what they're comfortable with, and that includes both the farting and the courtship process. But yeah, I think you need to. I think one thing that is undervalued is being direct. It gets around the problem that was discussed of people not picking up on flirting cues. It also gets around the fact that, if the person's not interested and you're both being way too subtle about it, you may miss that fact as well.
Yeah, I've missed that with some females.
Yeah.
Just like we were both like interested, but nobody was engaging, and it just never happened. But and then I look back and they're like, you know what, that could have been a thing, but we were both hesitant, and it just didn't go anywhere. So
just be direct, and people respect that, generally speaking. And if she's not someone who does, well, then maybe that wasn't a good setup anyway. But just if you're direct and say, hey, first of all, make sure you actually know the person and like them for more than the fact that they look hot. Like, I feel like that's a classic mistake, is everyone is like, I saw a person, they were attractive to me, I must date them. It's not enough. I don't think so. I know some people have great stories off of that, so maybe
Peter has a lot of dates.
It's a good starting point. Yeah, yes, I've had. It's a good starting point to, hey, I want to talk to this person. But then once you've talked to them, see if there's more there and build off of that, and then be direct and say, hey, would you like to go for a drink sometime, dinner, whatever, something that's very clearly a direct connection and overture, and then that gives that person the opportunity to say no, and then you're done.
And that's it. Also, be confident.
Here's a hypothetical. Here's a hypothetical. I'm at an art opening in Echo Park. I walk in the room. While I'm there, I notice a woman who's talking to a couple of other people. And our groups join, and we're now in a big group conversation of 6 or 7 people, mixed males or females, right? Now, I'm being polite and trying to be an active listener and engaging with everyone around me. How do I make clear that I'm interested in one woman over the other people that are there without creeping her out because she doesn't know who I am? I don't know her. I'm starting this conversation, but I'm also not trying to be like, hi, I'll be your friend. And you can, right? I am saying, like, how does one flirt in the wild?
So you go up, you just work your way over to her, and you stand next to her, and like not like creepily, just
maybe across from might be better, but yeah.
Just walk, just be close to her so you can hear her and listen to her conversation, and then pick up on some cues, and if there's anything that you guys connect on, then you kind of interact and be like, start saying things that she might be interested in based off of what she's saying, and then try to start up a conversation. If there's nothing there, if she doesn't start talking to you, then that's it. You move on. You don't continue to pursue her. That's just how it is.
Should I fart?
You shouldn't
Definitely
fart.
not.
Yeah.
No,
I mean, if it's
that stage, no.
Yeah, if it's super loud, then maybe you could get away with it, but it's not going to attract anybody.
After she walks away, you can fart.
Yeah.
And otherwise, just ask her questions about herself.
Yeah, exactly.
Ask her questions about her. Don't make it all about you.
But don't make it so much like an interview, though. That kind of can scare people
Yeah.
away if you keep on asking questions about
Show
them.
interest.
Show interest in things, and then build off of what they say. Kind of yes-ander, like say, "Oh, I like that too. Here's something else that's interesting. What else? What about you?" That sort of thing. It's kind of a building conversation, building blocks, laying one piece on top of another there.
Don't need to overcomplicate it, and also don't give a shit either when you're doing that. Don't
Women
be attached to that.
Can smell desperation. Just be confident and act like that. You're there to have fun. You're not there to try and get laid. You're not there to pick up on anybody. You're just there. You're enjoying life. And if somebody happens to click with you and you ask her out on a date, then that's great. If not, and you're still enjoying life, and you just got to keep that mantra going on there, that inner monologue going in your head there. So
yeah, it sounds like trying to catch like a firefly, but you can only see it out of the corner of your eye, and if you look directly at it, you miss it.
Sure.
All right.
Yeah, that'll work. Yeah, that's a good analogy. But people meet in the strangest places, and it's all about just trying to just discover that and embrace life. You only live once, but also you don't want to make yourself uncomfortable in others, and you don't you have to make sure that everything is safe, safe, and consensual, like we've always said. So But Doug, I hope we've helped you out, steered you in the right direction. Please call us back. We would love to have you back on, and we want to know how it's going. And if you need any follow-up advice, we would love to give it to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, gentlemen and ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Doug, have a good night.
Good night.
Wells, how often, what's your approach? You do a lot of online dating. Do you ever go as kind of natural when you're out in a group of people and you actually try to meet with people? What's your approach there? You were a little quiet.
Sure. Yeah, but that is a little bit trickier. It's like one thing that they said in the study, they compared it to lying. We usually assume that most people are telling the truth. So when someone's lying a lot, it takes us a while to figure that out. In the same way, when people talk to us, we assume most people aren't flirting with us. So if someone actually is, it's hard for us to detect that unless we're in a specific situation, like at a bar, or that's to be expected. So in online dating, if I'm talking to someone on an app, it's very much expected that I'll flirt with them. So it's much more obvious.
Yeah, that's like that's what you're there for, is to flirt.
Right.
So it's like
you have context. Yeah, that makes sense. Absolutely.
So do we have another caller coming in at all, or
we do? This is Becky. She is having an issue with a sexual fetish where she's only able to orgasm if she herself is crying.
Hello, Becky. You're talking to Chet and Diane.
You're talking sex live. This is Becky.
Hi, how are you?
Oh,
We're
wow.
good.
That is a very confident voice. How are you doing tonight, Becky?
I'm great. Thank you so much for taking my call. I really appreciate it.
No problem. So, Becky, you, if I get this right, you can only orgasm if you are crying. Is that correct?
That's correct, yes.
Okay, so I've never actually heard of this. There is a fetish that's called decrophilia, where you can only orgasm if somebody else is crying. So you basically, you get off on watching other people or your partner cry, but I've never heard of only you crying to have to orgasm. So, I mean, fetishes are very, I don't want to say they're strange or odd, but they're linked to your psyche. They're linked to events that happened at some point in time that shape our sexuality, and they're normal. They're perfectly fine. Is this something that you're finding a problem about? Is it affecting your love life, or?
I think the problem is that, you know, when I'm by myself, it's great, you know. All I have to think is like, you know, the fact that my dad doesn't love me, or the fact that
watch a sad movie, maybe some like
I never
sad
succeed
event
in my career. And it's just like, you know, I can cry and then it's like right away I can orgasm. But when I'm with a partner, you know, I'm just finding it really hard to find creative ways to get them to make me cry. Without having to ask. That's awkward.
It is. Also, like it's a buzzkill. It's a boner kill to see your partner cry while you're having sex. You automatically feel like you did something wrong, or like you're hurting them or something, and that's like instant. I think that when I lost my virginity after I had sex with my partner, she started crying just because she realized she wanted to save her virginity until marriage, and that was a very heart-gutting type of experience. So I can only imagine anytime you have sex with a man, to see a woman cry and have that, what that feels like for them. Have you tried to chat with your partners beforehand and just say, you know what, I have this fetish that I can only come if I cry? And I can guarantee that will open up a door for they'll not feel as bad. Have you tried that at all?
You know, with long-term partners, when I felt comfortable enough to kind of bring it up, I have, but it never seems to go very well. Like they'll kind of seem like they're okay with it, but then as we actually get into it, they feel really uncomfortable with it, and so I sort of almost feel the pressure to sort of pretend like I've, you know, fake an orgasm, just because it gets so weird that
I feel like it is all about like the because a guy. You know, when you see a woman cry, you feel like you violated them, and you feel that you upset them. At least if you're not like a sociopath, you know, if like when you have sex with them and you see a woman cry, you're just like, I did something, or like somehow this wasn't consensual and I ruined everything. Like, and like it's this whole. It's the worst feeling, like this like what happened. So I feel like that's what these guys are thinking about. Have you I mean, how often does this happen, that the guy just stops talking to you? Or
and I think the problem is that, you know, with longer term relationships, it's something I feel more comfortable discussing it, but if it's something that's, just a hookup or something casual, it's really hard to bring up. And I don't want to have that's going to like fetishize me, that sort of, I want somebody that gets off on my particular issue here. So it's just.
I was going to point out that Chet inadvertently mentioned a potential solution for this early on. I mean, again, there's a lot more to a relationship than just this, but there is a known fetish. Chet, you gave the name of it. I don't have it memorized.
It's decrophilia.
Yeah, where people get off on someone else crying. And there are fetish communities like FetLife, dating sites for people who have fetishes, where you could potentially track down people who have this kink or fetish, and they themselves honestly might be very self-conscious about the kink, because generally speaking, they're going to be judged very heavily for it themselves. So you might find some people who it's very delicate for them, which is good, because honestly, probably if you go into this and someone is like, yeah, I love making people cry, it might not be the best relationship partner. But if you have someone who's like, I can't open up about this to people, but like that for some reason that does something for me, and then on your side you're like, yeah, for some reason I can only orgasm when I cry, you might have a foundation there for at least a sexual outlet. If not, potentially you might luck out.
That's right.
Yeah. It's interesting. I never really thought of it like on my end as a fetish, so that's really illuminating.
It's literal, yeah. The word fetish, unlike kink, which is just more of what's a turn on, I mean, fetish is literally you can't orgasm without X. So people with a literal foot fetish need to be looking at or playing with a foot in order to orgasm at all. Right, exactly. Like, it's not merely I like feet, that's just a kink. So this sounds for you like a literal fetish.
It's a fetish.
You have to take that seriously.
And so, like, I think that's a great solution, seeking out who has, I mean, it's literally the opposite of decrophilia.
It's your Mr. Glass.
You would find, like, your yin to your yang, the exact opposite. And so that your partner would orgasm from watching you cry, and you could freely cry an orgasm, and I really think that would be super beautiful.
Talk about symbiotic relationship.
Exactly. I think you would benefit greatly off of that. It's called FetLife, right? What's the website there, Peter?
FetLife, yeah. FetLife. Yep. It's like OkCupid or the others, except specifically it's for kink and fetish. And people can treat it however they want. It can be just for hookups. It can be to actually build relationships with people. It's a way to meet people who share your kink. Yeah.
Have you? Is that something that you feel like you're willing to do there?
No. Yeah. I mean, it's so fascinating. I've never even thought of that. But yeah, I would definitely be up for trying that. I mean, I don't know how it would work, like, as far as like what they might do to sort of induce that in me, or if just knowing that it was okay to cry.
Yeah. So would you feel that? So, I mean, you don't. I mean, it's up to you if you feel comfortable that you want to, like BDSM, like you want to actually feel pain to cry, or is it more something that you?
No, it's more of an emotional.
It's all emotional. Yeah. So what about like degradation? It is that if somebody was to tell you things, like if a partner was to degrade you and say things to you that made you cry, is that something that you would be willing to do? I mean, it's.
Yeah, I think that probably aligns more with sort of how things work for me. It's definitely more of like an emotional degradation.
Got it. So they would have to say like things, certain topics or things that trigger you to start to cry. So I'm sure you can find some people on FetLife. There's definitely people out there. It's, in Germany, they have a big fetish life out there where you can hook up with people who are into the same thing, with things here that I never want to say a fetish is weird or crazy or insane. You don't want to use those words because as long as everything's safe, sane, and consensual, then that's what you feel and that's how you get off. It's okay. You shouldn't be ashamed of it. You should be proud of it.
Yeah.
And that's what your life is. That's what makes you happy. And we're all sexual beings. We need to be happy. We need to feel the sexual experiences that are in our bodies, you know?
And honestly, a lot of sexuality is just a societal construct. It's what we've all decided as a group we think is quote unquote normal or typical behavior.
There's no normal.
Yeah, a bunch of this stuff is like it's not the biological necessity. So anything outside of that is what we've tacked onto it as what works for us. In that case, it's different things for different people. And you know how many people there are who just hate oral sex, either giving it or receiving it. And to most people, that's a very normal part of sexuality. And so, everything is in degrees, and it's a spectrum of what people may or may not be into or feel. But as long as nobody is being hurt unconsensually, who cares? Figure it out and enjoy it.
We have more oral sex than we have penetrative sex. That's just we love to, put our mouth on each other's genitals. That's just how we work.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So. I hope we've helped you out. I felt like we went a mile in a minute with you, and I felt like we came to a very good conclusion, and we pointed you in the right direction. Do you feel that way?
Yes, definitely. I mean, I can't even describe how freeing it is to even think of it in that way. It's almost like a light switch was turned on. So I really appreciate it.
Perfect. Thank you so much for calling in, and have a very nice night. Please stay safe out there. And
thank you. You too.
All right. Have a good night.
Good night.
Yeah. Bye.
Wow, that was that's fulfilling for me. Yeah, that we actually had a good set of
nice.
Conclusion there. So just like to have that whole thing click. I hope she really finds somebody that is that has the exact opposite kink of hers, and that's actual that she clicks with. Yeah, we went all around the sexual gamut here with all these topics. I don't know what type of common theme would you think was tonight there, Peter?
Oh gosh.
Yeah, it's a tough one, but yeah, I really felt we pointed. Was it Douglas in the right direction there?
Just finding your path.
Yeah, it really was.
Being true to yourself.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Is it a fetish if my penis requires stimulation in order for me to orgasm?
I think so.
That's just normal biology.
Because that's the only way that I can have.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah,
that's just a penis.
Standard.
Yeah, pretty standard. That's
Normal
just a
penis.
dick. Yeah, just getting jerked.
Does that fall with fetish since I have to have that?
No, I think
so.
that's just biology. Everybody needs to have. Well, I'm sure there's some men who can orgasm and come without having to touch your penis.
Oh, there are people who can orgasm by thought alone.
Yeah.
People can orgasm by nipple stimulation.
Yeah.
There's
Anal
all
stimulation.
sorts of extremes. Again, it's of course. I mean, prostate play is very common, and that can do it. So there's plenty of ways for men and women, or people with any set of genitalia, to orgasm without the typical stimulation of it. But it's much more difficult, and probably most people can't do it or would require a lot of training.
Yeah, well, we went all around the spectrum here, folks. Thank you so much for listening. If you are listening to podcast, I really appreciate a good review for whatever platform you're listening on. If you are watching YouTube, give us a like. If you are watching Twitch or Caffeine, give us a follow. But we're going to end it there. Thank you so much, Peter and Wells, for joining in on us. Diane and I were going to have a lot of hot sex right now, but we're going to go ahead and end the night. Please stay safe, sane, and consensual. Have a good night, everybody.
Night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.